Hi, and welcome to The Gist. Heading into the home stretch of this year, the pressure is on to get everything done before the new one. Of course, some of that pressure is external, but some of it is self imposed. So, how do we sift through everything on our plates and figure out what really matters? When we feel torn between competing demands, our ability to prioritize can profoundly impact our productivity and our well being. It's no surprise then that everyone keeps looking for better and faster ways to get things done. But I like to fall back on some simple, tried and true methods that have worked well for me. The two bucket system. Over time, I've realized that almost everything I need to do falls into two basic categories. Important and urgent items are tasks that must be done that day or that week because they're usually time sensitive or have other future tasks dependent on them. Important but not urgent items are tasks of the longer term variety, either projects that span months and need to be tackled a little bit at a time, or ongoing things like exercise, weekly chores, or repeating administrative tasks. These aren't urgent, but can have long term consequences if we don't do them consistently. So, just two categories may seem simplistic, but if you think carefully, they're usually enough. And if something's not urgent and not important, why would we do it at all? Anything that doesn't fit these two buckets creates a lot of mental clutter and doesn't really need to be on our to do lists. Keep tasks in sight, literally. If something is out of sight, it's out of mind. So visual cues work really well for me. Using calendars and to do lists may seem obvious, but it's surprising how many of us don't integrate the two. We might use calendars for meetings and appointments, but we don't block off time by task. By doing so, you know what you're working on, but also when and for how long. The bonus is once you've laid out your calendar in this way, you can also see those lovely open blocks of time that you can use to relax or fit in a brisk walk or catch up with a friend over coffee. And you know what? If you don't see any open time in your calendar, that means you've likely overscheduled yourself and maybe it's time to reconsider your to do list. Use the Nike Just Do It philosophy. Once our important and urgent tasks are in our calendars, it should be easy in theory to get going. But we often waste time overanalyzing these tasks or putting them off because we're afraid to tackle them. I'm all for planning, but with urgent items, sometimes just diving in is the best way to get it done. Once you've started, it's often easier and faster to complete the work than you think. And if it really is a complex task, at least you've made some progress and can evaluate what to do next. Maybe break it down into more manageable bits or seek help or delegate. Eat the elephant one bite at a time. I'm not sure where that saying comes from, but it always makes me smile. The proverbial elephant is, of course, some big work or personal project that seems too daunting to even start, let alone finish. Or something like exercise that we know we should do regularly, but just don't feel like doing. These tasks are harder because there's usually no immediate looming deadline or consequence, so we can trick ourselves into thinking we have lots of time. But eventually, even these long-term tasks catch up with us, and then we panic because we didn't start early enough. This is where incrementalism comes in. If we can allot a bit of time each week into our calendars for these faraway items, we can become one of those Zen-like people we all know. They seem calm and poised because they are diligent enough to work on things before they become urgent. And if you want to take your Zen-like productivity to an even higher level, try setting artificial deadlines for yourself that are a little before the real ones so you can breathe easy. Finally, remember that whatever you're working on, short term or long term, Life is about progress and practice, not perfection. The small benefit you gain from trying to perfect something is usually not worth the opportunity cost and the impact it has on the rest of your life and time. On that note, wishing you a great week ahead. Be well and see you next time on The Gist.